But indisputable fact number 4 is Jesus is the Messiah, not just a Messiah, not a potential Messiah. He didn't just come to make salvation possible, right? Regardless of what people like Steve Harvey or Oprah might say, Jesus is not one of many ways to heaven. Actually, I'm going to play a clip because many people will feel the same way, and I think they're being led astray by these celebrities.
There's no one way to heaven, no one way to paradise. It's like television. Now it's over 800 channels of cable, and they're all pretty entertaining. So I'm pretty sure, man, that to get to heaven, there's got to be more than one route. Because somebody watching another channel or taking another channel than you, they still getting entertained, and they probably still getting to heaven.
There's this wonderful book called Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, which is anyway, it's a gorilla talking, but anyway, it talks about one of the points it brings out is one of the mistakes that human beings make is believing that there is only one way to live. That's and right. That we don't accept that there are diverse ways of being in the world, that there are millions of ways to be a human being.
Then how do we please God?
And many ways, no, but many paths to what you call God.
That
and
is
her path
pleasing.
might be something else, and when she gets there, she might call it the light. But her loving and her kindness and her generosity brings her, if it brings her to the same point that it brings you, it doesn't matter whether she called it God along the way or not.
And I guess the danger that could be on that, I mean, it sounds great on the onset, but if you really look at both sides,
there couldn't possibly be just one way. What about Jesus? What about Jesus?
And you say there isn't only one way. There is one way and only one way, and that is through Jesus.
There couldn't possibly be with
because
the millions
you
of people
say
in the
there
world.
isn't.
There couldn't possibly be.
Because you say, you intellectualize it and say there isn't. If you don't believe that, you're all buying into the lie.
Now, I will say it's not just people outside of the church. Unfortunately, you have people inside of the church who are not convinced that Jesus is the only way. They believe that there's many ways to get to heaven. Someone would say, sure, there's many ways to get to heaven, but will you be staying there, right? You'll be there for Judgment Day, and then you will be exiting stage left. But however, the Bible makes the case that Jesus is the Messiah, right? The perfect, the sinless, stainless Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. Think about it. If there's many ways to get to heaven, right? God coming into the world at an appointed time, becoming a man through a virgin, experiencing pain and suffering, fulfilling all righteousness on our behalf, taking on our sin to endure the wrath of the Father for a people who would then reject that sacrifice for some other way to then be able to yield the same result. I think that would seem pointless, and it would make the blood of Christ equal to practicing yoga. It make the blood of Christ equal to worshiping creation or your inner voice, right? I think God will be wasting his time in sending Christ. Missionaries will be wasting their life and taking the gospel to the ends of the earth. But what does the Bible say? Acts chapter 4, verses 11 through 12. This Jesus is the stone that was rejected by you, the builders. He is the stone that's rejected by Oprah. Jesus is the stone that is rejected by Steve Harvey. But it goes on to say, which has become the cornerstone. Jesus has become the cornerstone, and there is salvation in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved.